Guys, so today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some major mistakes that I see investors making that I believe is costing them thousands of dollars. But before we get into that, I did want to say real quick, this week's giveaway is going to be an Anthony Edwards Select Silver PSA 9. If you want a free chance to enter into this card that is nearly 50 bucks, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, comment the word done, and you will be entered in to win this Anthony Edwards PSA 9 Prism Select Silver. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So the first major mistake I see investors making is missing some really great buying opportunities when a player gets eliminated from the playoffs. Now, I did want to give a couple examples because I know this can be a little bit confusing for many. But a lot of people assume that during the peak of the offseason is going to be the best time to buy players. If we take Trevor Lawrence, for example, we're seeing this cycle change a little bit right now, and I wanted to update you guys. As you guys know, the NFL... the Super Bowl's around the beginning of February, and Trevor Lawrence got eliminated from the NFL playoffs in January. So his cards pretty much bottomed out around that time. We saw during the playoffs, this card right here, BGS 9, Trevor Lawrence National Treasures, which is probably the base way to gauge his market, was around a $12,000 card. After he got eliminated from the playoffs, it bottomed out at 10.6 thousand. We saw it bottom out a little bit more at around 9,900. However, soon after that, we saw a massive jump in all of Trevor Lawrence's markets since March. And we saw essentially all football cards bottom out around the beginning of March, which surprisingly is only a month into the offseason. Keep in mind, football doesn't come back for another 4 months, but we saw a lot of prices already bottom out, and Trevor Lawrence's overall market is up 24% already in the last 3 months. So for those who waited, they've already missed out on 50% on a lot of his key cards that have gone from 10,000 to 15,000 or 1,000 to 1,500 or whatever it is. They've already missed out on 50% gains on a lot of his cards, and an overall 24% gain on Trevor Lawrence's market because he's going to be hot leading into next season. That ties me into this next thing, right? If you look at basketball, we saw guys like De'Aaron Fox, who showed a lot of potential. They're likely going to have a very strong market heading into next season. I would say pretty similar to a Trevor Lawrence type. He's the next hot guy in a lot of people's minds, and his cards right now are really starting to bottom out. If we look at, De'Aaron Fox's market, we can see his Prism Silver right now most recently sold for $239, but in the playoffs, this card was a $400+ card at certain points. If we look back on, when he was at the peak of everything, when they were facing the Warriors, when they were winning those first 2 games, we saw some sales as high as $445 for his Prism Silver PSA 10. We saw a couple reach around the $400, $350 to $400 range. And we've seen his cards come all the way back down to earth at around $240. And I think a lot of De'Aaron Fox's market is really bottoming out right now. And it could be a great opportunity because I do believe next season he's going to be, one of the players that people really look for before the season. So I personally see a similar trend happening to what happened in Trevor Lawrence's market, where they bottomed out pretty quickly and people already started to buy up for next season. And I think missing a lot of these opportunities could be very detrimental to one's portfolio. I mean, if you look at even a Prism Silver PSA 9, it was around $100. It's come all the way down to $50 for certain comps. Of course, comps are kind of all over the place, but if you can get a De'Aaron Fox card for 50% of what it was selling for when he was in the playoffs, I think you're doing really good. We saw this big run up in price, and now we're seeing a steep decline. And I believe it's going to continue for a little bit, and we're going to soon reach the bottom, and then we're going to see prices bounce back up. So there's a lot of great opportunities in the basketball card market. The overall basketball card market's down nearly 10% in the last 90 days, and that is mainly because of players who missed the playoffs and who are getting eliminated from the playoffs. So you could see some incredible buying opportunities. A lot of people missed the boat with football. Luckily, I was one who bought in a little bit early for guys like Trevor Lawrence. But I would highly suggest buying sooner than later for the offseason because you could see gains much faster than you would even expect. Now, without further ado, we are going to hop right into the next big mistake people are making, which is chasing new products. I cannot explain how much this can hurt you. For example, Paulo Banchero, amazing player, has an incredibly bright future in my opinion. However, buying his cards right now are probably the most detrimental mistake you can make. If you just simply look at the prices you are paying, it makes zero sense. If you look at some of his prices, for example, a raw Prism Silver selling for over $100. You got to look at where they are compared to other players. Right now, the product just released. There's not much on the market. Supply is going to continue to increase at a very steep rate as people open up these packs. If you look at some of his cards, for example, Prism Silver being $100, just take a look at some other young great players. For example, a Trae Young, 2018 Prism Silver. Let's go ahead and see where those are priced at right now. And Anthony Edwards even. You could just see how much of a premium you are currently paying because the product is new. A PSA 10 Trae Young Prism Silver is a $200 card, and raw, it's probably around a $50 to $60 card. So you're paying pretty much double Trae Young. That's one example. Of course, we don't know what Paulo Banchero's future is going to be. Maybe he does outperform Trae Young, but the point is that you're paying an incredibly steep premium right now. If we go ahead and look even at, like, for example, an Anthony Edwards Prism Silver rookie, we can definitely see, and it becomes very clear how much of a premium you are paying for a Paulo Banchero rookie card, or Paulo Banchero Prism Silver. And as these products continue to get open, we're going to see supply increase, and unless demand increases at a steep rate, you're not going to see a good return on your money. So I would highly suggest being very careful when you're buying into these new products. The same goes with guys like Chet Holmgren. You're going to end up with the same mistake if you're not able to, be patient with these cards. We can simply look right here, and for a guy who has not played, any meaningful basketball in the NBA, and a guy who's just been injured for the last year and has so much uncertainty, paying $55 for a Prism Silver ungraded is probably not the best route you want to take. So I would highly suggest staying patient with new products. We're going to see a lot more new exciting products drop, but it's important to stay patient and not buy into the hype too early because you can see a steep decline. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into the next pick, and that is going to be, the next mistake is holding players too deep into the playoffs. For example, one key guy I'm looking at right now is guys like Jimmy Butler, who does have a great chance to make the NBA Finals at this point. As I'm recording this video, they are up 1-0 in their series versus Celtics. However, if you look at his prices right now, I would really suggest at least thinking about selling. Oftentimes, the best times to sell are times where you think you don't need to sell, and you're riding so high on this guy. And I understand he could make the finals. His cards could go up another 15%. Who knows, right? Could go up another 30%. Who knows? But if you look at his overall market right now, it's already gone up 35% recently. And who even knows the future? So I would highly suggest taking profits when you have profits on the table. It's never bad to take profits. If we look at Jimmy Butler's card market, it's tough to find recent sales, but I will tell you any cards that have sold recently are for a steep premium, compared to a couple months ago. If you look at this card right here, this card was dipping below $200. I don't know what this comp is right now, but this card right now is starting to increase again. We saw a massive sale at $27.50 for a Prism Silver PSA 10, which is a pretty absurd price. If you ask me, if you're seeing a 2x return, if you're seeing even a 35% return, it could be a good sign to take your profits. It could go up another 30%, but it could also go down another 30% or 50%. So at this point, you're really gambling at much higher prices because $27.50 for a Prism Silver PSA 10, if you want to look at other guys like Anthony Davis, I starting to feel that Jimmy Butler's getting a little bit overpriced. You know, it's almost double the price of an Anthony Davis Prism Silver PSA 10. And keep in mind, Anthony Davis is a lot younger, and he's on a team with a lot more hype, and has a longer future in the league, in my opinion. So I'm starting to feel like Jimmy Butler's getting a little bit overpriced. I was recommending my members to buy up Jimmy Butler months ago. And I think I'm right now currently recommending them to sell off. I think it's a good time to take your profits and move on to the next card that you think is going to double. Because I don't see Jimmy Butler's cards doubling from here. They're already sitting pretty high. So I think it could be a good time to sell off. I would just suggest being careful. Don't assume that his cards are going to continue to go up just because they've gone up for the last couple weeks or couple months. You can never assume those type of things in any market. So I would just suggest you guys be careful with the fire you're playing with holding a card after it's already doubled in price. But I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and join into the giveaway. Drop a like, subscribe, comment the word done. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.